Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got another new bikepacking event to look at, ready for next year. So let's head over and check out ALPSDIVIDE. Now this is their website. Looks pretty smart. So the ALPSDIVIDE is a self-supported bikepacking challenge. So basically it starts at the Mediterranean and then heads north to Lake Geneva, heading through France, Italy and Switzerland. It's going to be about 1,000 kilometers with 32,000 meters of climbing. Now note this isn't kind of billed as a race as such, but it's going to be one of those ones where people are definitely going to want to race it quite fast. But you know, it's more about getting out there and seeing the Alps. So yeah, they've got the Ultra, which is basically there's a time limit on it and checkpoints. I'm sure everyone's familiar with that kind of format. And yeah, it's happening in September. I think the date it's like the first week of September, something like that, in 2024. There is going to be an option for a tour if you don't want to race it as such. But it's put together by Katie Jane Leherpenier and Lee Townsend. Now these guys know what they're doing. They've done loads of events. I mean, Katie Jane did TCR in 2015 and has been doing events ever since. And they've both done a lot of the mountain races, Silk Road, Atlas, Hellenic, all of those things. And I believe they're both tour guides or certainly work in the sort of the guiding industry in the Alps. So if anyone's going to know what to do, it's going to be those guys. So it should be a pretty good event to check out. Now I've download the GPX and I've put it into Ride with GPS, which is sort of my preferred software for this kind of thing. So let's just check out the route and see where it goes. Now it's billed as well, I reckon it's probably going to be hardtail mountain bike, but they've billed it as kind of quite a lot of gravel roads. Here we go, look. A mix of gravel tracks, quiet paved lanes, and a little bit of single track. To me, that says hardtail with probably some front suspension just for those long descents. But I suspect you could do it on a gravel bike without too much issue. It'd just be a bit more comfortable and probably faster on the descents on a mountain bike. And you're going to want that big wide cassette as well at the back. Because there's some, as you can see from the profile here, there's some pretty big old climbs. Now, whacking it in Ride with GPS, I've got 622.7 miles, 100,000 feet of climbing. So starting on the south coast in France, on the Mediterranean, Menton, basically that's the border town with Italy, as good as anyway. The next town over is Italy. So you can see it kind of meanders its way out, bit of a road climb to get out of the town. Now I must say I don't know too much about this particular part of the Alps, the very southern part. But you can see there's all these old walled fortifications and bunkers and stuff. I think that will be a theme of the route. But yeah, I don't think that is actually the route because it's on tarmac here. So you can see going up this road out of town. So it should be quite a mellow start. There we go. Nice quiet lanes, as they say in the description. This is obviously quite an autumnal photo. Probably won't be too far off given the time of year. So yeah, gradually getting elevation. Obviously you're starting at sea level, so it's going to take a little while to get up to the height you want. And the first border crossing quite early on, 30 miles in, and a little loop through Italy and the first kind of, I guess the first big gravel section. And I don't really know, again, too much about this, but there's so many old military roads up in this section. So I imagine it's an old military road. And you can see already, that looks like a hiking trail. I think there is a little bit of hiking on it, but I don't think it's kind of going to be sort of detrimental to the ride. Let's see what the Google man says. Here you go. This is the kind of thing it's going to be quite a lot. So you can see well driven. I suspect there's a lot of like four-wheel drives and stuff doing some kind of trips and stuff. So on a bike it shouldn't be any problem whatsoever. So it's Monte Guta. So I guess that's the road that kind of heads up and traverses along, and you can see there's a tarmac climb up there as well. And then obviously this dirt road is kind of an alternative at the top there. So that should be a really nice mellow kind of start. Well, I say mellow, you're going from sea level to, 7,000 feet, so 2,500 odd meters, and traversing the border, going over, near the Colle Milzola. And again, you can see loads of fortifications and stuff up here. So this would have been like one of the frontiers in World War II. So I suspect this is absolutely littered with bunkers on this particular area because, the war was quite hard fought through the Alps. So yeah, tracing the border essentially before looping back round and heading back into France. And then you're kind of getting into the bigger climbs. So Col de Suc is there. Well, there's a couple in here. Not quite sure what this one is. I couldn't see the name on it. As I say, I'm not super familiar. Turini, might be the Col de Turini actually. That is around there somewhere. But as you can see, I mean, it's spectacular. Obviously, a bit of snow. Doubt there'll be snow in September, but you can never rule it out. And you can see the kind of thing, the kind of roads that this will be taking on. And again, more bunkers, more military fortifications, at the top there. And then you're kind of rolling in, and there's going to be, I think, pretty much the highest point after 200 miles. Not quite the highest point, but as good as. You've got the first one here, the Col du Suc. Again, looks like primarily a road climb. I mean, a lot of the roads and tracks are paved in the Alps. And then quite often you get the old road that kind of loops around before sort of the main road was constructed or improved. Col du Suc, and then it's called the Chimdeon de la Bonnet, and as you can see from the map, it's a bit of an out and back. Now this features on the Tour de France. You can see the sort of the main road there. Looks like it's going up a back road here, crossing over, and basically this route, yeah, there you go. You can see kind of the old tarmac road there. Looks pretty spectacular. But this climb was actually, it's boasted to be the highest in the Alps. I'm not sure if it actually is or not. Well, you can see from this, it's certainly not the highest on the route. It's the second highest on the route, but I think it was supposed to be the highest paved climb in the Alps, or certainly France, and it's been the highest point on the Tour de France numerous times. But you can see there's kind of a loop at the top. So essentially, the original pass was here, and they basically, in order to boast about how high their climb was, they just did a little loop that went up and around sort of the top here. And as you can see, it's a pointless road to nowhere. They've just dug it into the side of the mountain just as an excuse to go slightly higher. And as there's a high point nearby, then the route goes up and around it. So that's going to be a fairly big old climb. Up around the top and all the way back down again. I imagine it's a good couple of hours at least going up there. But yeah, should be some good views, or no view, depending on the weather. And then you're kind of dropping deeper into France. So heading up to the next kind of Col du Papillon. And then you've got the little, I don't actually know the name of this, but Risoul. So you're in the ski areas now. I think I went skiing as a kid there to Risoul. Good snow in the winter. There'll be loads of kind of dirt roads and stuff up there because they're all you can see the Station de Risoul, Var, that's another ski resort. So all these roads are going to be well maintained, and they're probably going to have a fair bit of like traffic in the summer. Obviously in the winter it's going to be snow traffic, as you can see by the winter Google images at the moment. But in the summer or late summer, they're going to be preparing for the ski season, so those roads are going to be fairly well maintained. And again, you've got a mix of tarmac and dirt roads as you kind of heading north. The next high point, Col d'Ais, and again you can see it's just a mix of dirt and tarmac all the way, and then you cross back into Italy. And this is a Col de Sommelier. Now it's an out and back. I don't believe you can get over the top, but as you can see, it's going to be a big old climb. So this will actually be the highest point. I think it's just a tad under 3,000 meters, which, you're going to start having a bit of difficulty breathing at that height. You're going to feel it for sure. And you can see there's a big lake up here. And well, that's the reason you don't go over. I guess it's probably a hiking path over, but as this race or this event is not, billed as it's not a brutal kind of hiker bike fest. It's a bit more kind of accessible. You go back down again. So yeah, back down, back into France, and then heading, carrying on the journey north. So the Col d'Encombre, or the Petit Col d'Encombre, Col d'Arèche. And then we're heading back towards Chamonix. Now, Katie and Lee, I think they live in Chamonix, or certainly in that area. So this section is going to be pretty damn cool. There's going to be some really good kind of tracks and stuff that they found out. Teens is like a really high ski resort. I've been in like Courchevel mountain biking before. So again, all these kind of areas, they're going to be interlaced with kind of well-maintained tracks, so that they can get to the ski lifts and stuff. Saint-Gervais, Chamonix, there's going to be loads of really good resupply in this area once you get down in the valleys, bike shops, stuff like that. And then we're heading into France and Switzerland. A few little climbs in there. So Col de Joret, again, I don't know too much about this part of Switzerland. Certainly here. And then you drop back into France. So when you drop back into France, you're dropping into the valley here. So Morzine is a really famous mountain bike destination, and you can actually ski destination as well. So Champéret, Morzine, they're linked by ski lifts. So all of this section here, I'm pretty sure I've actually ridden, certainly this crossing here, I've ridden it years ago. So you can mountain bike all the way through here and get up and over these mountains. And as you can see, well, that's a hiking track, but there's a network of tracks up and over. It might even be part of the route. They did say there is some hike bike in it, but I can't imagine it's overly taxing. I mean, we're not talking like Highland Trails levels of hike bike, I doubt. But that looks pretty rideable if you're on a mountain bike and got easy enough gearing. And you can see there's a bit of a plateau anyway, so I suspect it'll be fire road up, and then it goes into this kind of singly track stuff, heads over the top, and then turns back into sort of graded fire road as the route descends. Again, here you go, yeah, graded fire road. You know, it's easy to drive, so it's not going to be too much of a problem on a mountain bike or even a gravel bike. You just got to be a bit more careful on a gravel bike, and just being on the drops kind of is slightly more tiring on your shoulders. So yeah, basically we're starting to drop out of the Alps now, so not many passes. And yeah, finally roll down into Thonon-les-Bains for the finish. I think there's a finish party on the banks of Lake Léman. It's a really beautiful place up here. I stayed in Thonon-les-Bains myself before. There's Evian-les-Bains, you know, where the famous bottled water comes from. It's a really beautiful part of the world. So yeah, it should be a pretty cool event to do. So yeah, check out the website. I'm not sure if they might be full, but I think they've got a waiting list now for that event. But I might do some dot watching on it. It looks like a cool event, and certainly one I would like to do at some point. So yeah, keep an eye on that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again later in the week. I'm going to do a little preview, another new race. It's called Via. So it's a road race, and yeah, we'll dig into that and see what we can find out. So thanks for watching. Give us a like and subscribe as usual, and see you in the next one.